Everybody, how are you? I'm here in Warwick. Please clap if you like. So I'm here in Warwick on the last leg of my trip again that I keep making every other week or so. You see me crossing the state. For those who don't know, I cross this state every single year. I go to all 62 counties and I travel so I can meet people. And I meet people even when I'm not running. I'm not one of those guys who shows up and says, oh, this year I need your money and your votes. Now I love you. And for the next 3 years, you forget who I am. I actually show up when I don't need your money, when I don't need your votes. I show up so I can keep talking. People who ask me questions about specific things across the state often get answers. Why? Because I've spoken to people and I've gotten to think about what's wrong and then how do I fix it? That's the key. I'm trying to fix this state. What's happening right now is we're not doing that. Sadly for us, the Democratic Party now controls this state. It is a one-party state and does nothing. And the Republican Party has accepted that's true and does nothing to fix it. Now, I get why Republican leadership is doing this. The average Republican in this state is trying to make change or, sadly, is trying to leave. Both of those are bad. But the reality of it is the leadership has said, why would I want to take charge of this state? It's collapsing. As long as I allow Democrats to run everything, I don't have to take responsibility for anything. So what do you find happening? You are watching Republicans stop running. They're quitting. They're walking away. Why? Because they're afraid? No, the opposite. Because they recognize they're the ones who want to make change and they can't. They are frustrated. You see it everywhere. You see Republicans go, I was going to run for this, but now I'm not going to. I'm starting to run for this. Now I'm not going to. Why? They see no path to change. The people who stay are those who see a path to victory. You might go, that's the same thing, Larry. No, it isn't. I win, so now I have power and or money. Do I make change? Who cares? All I have to do is yell, other guy bad. Democrats are the same. They don't make change. Think about this. Democrats have run this state for the past 24 years. There has not been a statewide Republican victory in this state for 24 years. Not Senate, not governor, not AG, zero in 24 years. If the Democrats are going to fix this state, they would have. Let me ask you, though, if Republicans are going to fix this state, wouldn't they have a plan? And let me ask you right here, can anyone tell me what's the Republican plan to fix this state? Yeah, nothing. I ask that every single place I go, and no one ever gives me an answer because there isn't one. Their answer is, Hochul is bad. That's their answer. If you're a Republican leader in this state, your answer to I have a problem is, Hochul is terrible. And before that, it was Cuomo's terrible. Democrats have been yelling Trump terrible for 15 years. He's president twice. It doesn't work. Yelling other guy bad just makes you no longer responsible for the bad, but it doesn't make you win. If you want to win, you got to have hope. You got to have a plan or something that feels good. That may sound silly, but Obama did it and so did Trump. When Obama won, he had hope and change. That made the Democrats happy. When Trump won, he had MAGA, Make America Great Again. That made Republicans happy. What do we have? Hochul bad. That doesn't work. We have to have answers. I'm the guy who's had answers for literally 8 years. I'm not joking. It's all been on my website. It's all been everywhere. I use this all the time because I love this story so much. At the end of my Joe Rogan interview in 2018, Joe asked me, he says, so Larry, where'd you get all these ideas from? I said, well, no, my team and I, we made it. We see what was happening in a state. We created policies to fix the things. He said, you better lock these ideas down. I said, why? He said, people take them. I said, take them. I don't have to run. Fix my state. I'm running because I don't want to move. That's why I don't want to leave my state. That's why I'm running. Take my ideas, fix the state. I'll stay home. I got kids. 2 of them are right here. I got to bring them with me when I'm running around. I would rather stay home. But here's the worst part. For 8 years, all those plans have been on my website. For 8 years, I've been crossing the state telling people how to fix it. No one's taken it. No one has. Not one person has taken any of my ideas. Why not? Because they're bad ideas? No, because they would actually work and fix things. And if I fix something, I can't blame the other. You make a Larry, you're exaggerating. No, I'm not. I'm not exaggerating. Think about our leadership right now across this country and specifically across this state. Over the past 25 years, if you lean left, the Democrats have controlled the House, the Senate, they've controlled the presidency, and they've controlled the Supreme Court, sometimes all at the same time. If that's true, let me ask you, if you lean left, where was your codification of Roe v. Wade? Where was your Medicare for all? Nowhere. Now, if you lean right, great, you lean right, that's amazing. The Republicans have controlled the House, the Senate, the presidency, They've also controlled the Supreme Court. Great. Where's your comprehensive immigration reform? Where's your balanced budget amendment? Nowhere. Why would they fix it when they can blame the other? And that's what we keep doing. We keep blaming the other. In this state, the same thing. Okay, Larry, talking trash, how do you fix it? I'm telling you how you fix it. Believe it or not, Trump taught us how. How did he teach us? He showed us a coalition. That's what he did in 2024. He put together himself, Elon Musk, Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr. That coalition is the reason why he won all 7 swing states. Now, he might have won an election anyway, I don't actually know. But he won all 7 swing states because of that coalition. That's why he did it. He beat Kamala Harris in the popular vote because of that coalition. Without the millions of votes from RFK Jr., Elon Musk, and Tulsi Gabbard, Trump does not win a popular vote. He got a mandate because of that coalition. We have the same issue here in New York State, except now it's against Kathy Hochul and the established Democrats. We need people who are going to be a coalition against them. And I go, Larry, we should then have multiple political parties. I know, I've tried that. I know, you're right. I've tried that. It doesn't work in this state. For those who don't know, in 2018, I actually got Libertarian Party to be a party in this state. And the next year, I crossed this state, and we had 107 local victories across this state. We were building out an actual movement that would have mattered. And we had Democrats and Republicans. Those of you in the room remember that time. We had Democrats and Republicans coming to us, trying to get us to create a coalition constantly. They were coming to us. Hey, what about this? Can we join you in this? Can we join you in that? We were making movements. And Cuomo said, can't have that. And he got rid of us. Evil Democrats. True. Then in 2022, when I came back again, you know who threw me off the ballot then? Republicans did. Yes. Yes, the establishment is an equal opportunity backstabber. See that? There we go. They will take care of any of them. Yes. So they threw me off the ballot in 2022. Well, now I'm back again. And now I'm doing a coalition again. This time we can make this work. And I'm doing it now through the Republican primary. Now, if you're a Republican right now, you might go, but Larry, we've already chosen Blakeman. Did any of you choose Blakeman? The answer would be no, I know, because I was at the convention when they picked him. Sorry, when they coronated him. And when I said coronation, I'm not joking. At that convention, if you are an average Republican in this state, you should be embarrassed and ashamed by your leadership. You should be embarrassed of it. Why? I went down there, and you open up the convention, and it was a prayer, which is common and normal. No problem with that. What was the prayer for? Was it for the small businesses that have been destroyed from the lockdowns? Was it for the families who've been broken up, who've left the state and gone to Florida? Was it for farmers who've lost their farms? No, it was for Bruce Blakeman. They hadn't even nominated him yet. A prayer for Bruce Blakeman, and they hadn't even nominated him yet. So it wasn't for us, it was for them. That's what actually happened. And then when they went to nominate him, someone tried to also nominate somebody. And when they did, they grabbed him and shoved him out the back door. I'm not joking. I said it publicly. So while they were doing it, literally, Ed Cox was reading. It was a coronation. He read from a sheet of paper, and he said, I'm now going to recognize Jane Doe from Oneida. And Jane Doe gets up and goes, Bruce Blakeman's the greatest guy in the world. I love him so much. And that was the entire thing for like 2 days straight. Then when they bring him up, they nominate him, you have to ask, are there any other nominations? That's a common thing you must ask. Are there any nominations? Some guy goes, I have a nomination. Guy in a black suit grabs him, pushes him out the back. And then Ed Cox says, he's reading again. Hearing none. That's what he said. I'm not making this up. It's on C-SPAN. Check it yourself if you want to. Actually happened. It was a coronation. And you might say, well, Larry, is it that bad? Okay, let me tell you if it's bad or not. All right, if I can. There was a very popular, and I mean a very popular Democrat who won and shocked the world several years ago. His name was Barack Obama. Remember when he won? That very charismatic, young, charismatic Democrat when he won? The Republican Party said, oh my God, we've got this charismatic, young, charismatic Democrat who's won. Who should we put up against him? I know, Mitt Romney. You're laughing. That happened. I'm not making that up. That happened. So now what just happened last year? A young, charismatic Democrat just won the mayor of New York City. A guy named Mamdani. Yeah, he just won. So the Republicans said, got it. I know what we'll do now because that will bring up Mitt Romney Jr., Blakeman. That was their answer. The Republican leadership has learned nothing. They've learned nothing. They're exactly the same thing. And then they said, this is how we'll do it. Remember how we complained and said how Democrats were so bad, how they decided to to make Kamala Harris and coordinate Kamala Harris, we'll just copy that model because that works so well for Democrats. Oh, wait, that didn't work either. So why would they do this? Because they hate you? No. Because they're mean? No. Because the Republican leadership in this state has decided that they will sacrifice us for the federal government. I'm not joking. That's what they've done. They have sacrificed our families, sacrificed our businesses, sacrificed our Main Street, sacrificed our children, sacrificed our elderly. They've sacrificed them all to keep the federal government happy. It's an embarrassment. I will not stand for it. I want to actually change this state. I want to bring back our communities. I want to keep our elderly here. I want to keep our kids here. You guys see it. Our kids get educated here and they leave. I watch it all the time. Our kids get educated and they leave. How about they get educated and they stay? How about that? The amount of people I know, and I'll ask in this room right now, if you don't mind, if anyone feels comfortable saying it, how many of you either are leaving or considering leaving? Look, all the hands going up. They recently did a survey. 1/3 of all New Yorkers are thinking about leaving. Are planning to leave. 1/3. That's an embarrassment. That's been true for 20 years. For 20 years. Now you might go, well, they hate it, right? No, Cuomo told you to leave. Remember? Cuomo said, his words, there's no room in this state for conservatives. Remember that? His words. What was his punishment? Nothing. Then Hochul said, if you remember her, what she said, if you're a Republican, get in a bus and go to Florida. I don't know why she said bus, but she did. I said, it's not my words. She said, I don't know why she said bus. Don't drive, I guess. Don't train. Get in the bus. She wants you to get in the bus. Whatever. She said, get in the bus and go to Florida. And she said Florida. I don't know why she said Florida, but that's what she said. Then lastly, she said, if you vote Republican, you are anti-American. Remember that one? What's her punishment? Nothing. Nothing. What happens is she's actually gets a benefit. Why? Because more Republicans listen to her and they leave. For those of you who have some gray hair like me, you remember, Florida used to be a swing state. Remember those days? Used to be. Now it's red. Why? All the New Yorkers went down there. Turned to red. The Republicans used to vote here, went down there. How do I know that? Numbers are here. 23% of the voters in New York State are Republican. 23%. 47% are Democrats. 30% are either non-affiliated or independent. Republicans are outgunned 3-1 in the state. And they thought, we'll get Bruce Blakeman, who will just yell Hochul bad. So he'll get, what, 30% of the vote maybe? He's trailing Hochul by anywhere between 15 and 25 points, depending upon what poll you look at. He's trailing her between 15 and 25 points. And we think that's the guy. He won't leave Long Island. And we think that's the guy. Meanwhile, I'm up here talking to you. And when he does leave the island, where does he go? He goes from Republican fundraiser to Republican fundraiser to Republican fundraiser to Republican fundraiser. I come to you. Big difference. Big difference. We're looking for someone who can actually start a movement. We're looking for someone who actually build a coalition. You're looking at that guy right now. We can make this happen. We have to focus on community and focus on community more than anything. That is the answer. When you add government, you remove community. I'll give you a perfect example of what just happened. In my city, New York City, where I live, Mamdani just decided that he was going to help people out and help the community. And he was going to pay people to shovel. You remember that story? $30 an hour to go shovel. Now you might say, well, that sounds amazing. That's his part of the warmth of collectivism he was going to give us. Remember that? He said that thing? Love that idea. Look at him. He's going to give you $30 an hour. Here's the problem. If you ever lived in a city, and if you live in a city or not, what usually happens when you have people in a block who have a couple cars that are snowed in? All the people who have cars get out on their own, help each other to shovel the cars out. I know that. I live in New York City, so you do. So if 3 people have a car, we all get out, shovel out your car, then we shovel out your car, then we shovel out your car, and we all go. That's actual community. What did he do? He said, do it for $30 an hour. So now am I going to do it anymore? Not if I don't get paid. Those of you who watched me, I say this all the time, and it's the perfect example of it. When you add government, you remove community. That's how it works every time. When you add government, you remove community. He just did it. Those guys that sit around like this in their shovels waiting for $30 an hour. When if it wasn't for him, you're laughing because you know I'm right. When it wasn't for him, they'd be shoveling people's cars out. They'd be doing it. And then some of the youngsters would do it for whatever they can get. The young guys go out there and shovel a car. I got $20, done. Now, $30 or more. That's what's going to happen. Why would I shovel your car out when Mamdani's giving me $30? You going to give me 35? And Mamdani's not going to make me work. I can hang out with him. He's not going to force me to work at all. I can just sit there, get my $30. I got to actually get your car out. I don't want that. He just wrecked it. I know I'm kind of joking, but I'm not. We have to change this. We need real policies to change things in this state. We have to make this happen. The way we do that is through a primary. Now, people will tell me, Larry, you don't understand. The Republican Party cannot afford a primary. If you can't afford a primary, you can't afford to fight Hochul. She has $20 million in her pocket right now. I'm not joking. $20 million in her pocket right now. She's not even taking matching funds. She got so much money. I'm not making this up. She's not, everything I'm saying publicly. So if I'm lying, you can Google it right now. I'm saying it live. Google it right now if I'm lying. She has over $20 million in her pocket right now, and is not even taking matching funds. She has so much money. You're telling me that Blakeman can't afford to beat me? Well, he can't afford to win then, can he? Not just that. Who's talking about Blakeman in the press right now? He had nobody. Half you don't even know who he is. Half you never met him. You have no idea. You know me more. You knew of me before you knew of him. I'm not joking. Half of this room knew of me before you knew of him. Absolutely true. So how can we get the press? If we have a primary, and there's debate, and there's commercials, people get excited. And for any of you who run for office before, do people give money just because? No, they don't. They give money because they think something's going to happen. They believe in something. Something's going to happen. Okay, I'll give you my money. Something's going to happen. Well, if we have an exciting primary where someone might actually be able to beat Hochul, watch the money come in. How are we going to match Hochul's $20 million? Luck? No. Excitement. That's how you match those dollars. Excitement. People go, man, we can actually turn New York State red. We can turn it away from blue. What? Take all my money. Because I don't want to move. Take it all. Now the people right now who are about to get taxed by Mamdani go, wait a minute, I have to get taxed by Mamdani? Larry, I'm glad to give you some cash. I'll give you lots of cash because I'm going to lose a whole lot. If Mamdani gets his way, I'll give you lots of money. That's how you get people to give money. That's how you fight that $20 million. Not through hope. Or maybe through an actual plan. A way of making this work. When we beat Blakeman, I will have the Republican line, I will have the conservative line, and I will have the libertarian line. Why does that matter? Because the libertarian line is where the Democrats will vote for me. There's a lot of Democrats in the state who would never vote for a Republican no matter what. And some of you Republicans know you would never vote for a Democrat no matter what. Well, they feel the same way about you. Never. They would not do it no matter what. Doesn't matter who's on the line. Got to R by the name? No. Will they vote for libertarian? Yes. How do I know that? Because I just feel good? Because I look good? I mean, I do look good. But that isn't the reason why. The reason because I have actual data. I've run before. We've done the polling. I know 30% of the people who vote for me registered Democrats. 30% registered independents or non-affiliated. 40% Republicans. So I know I have a coalition. The data is in. I got numbers to prove it. So I know that's true. Blakeman has, Hochul's bad. That's what he has. I have numbers that show I can create a coalition. That's how we win in this state. That's how we make change. I'll give you one more piece that matters now. Take as many questions as you like. First piece is, right now Blakeman is running a campaign, which is basically Zeldin's campaign. It is a law and order campaign. Which in 2022 is probably not a bad idea. In 2022, we had just come out of our lockdowns. We had just come out of that. There was a lot of crime. We were burning people in the MTA. Remember that? They were burning people alive in the subways. Good idea, Zeldin. Good idea. This is not that campaign anymore. This is an economy campaign. People worry about their energy prices, their taxes, where they're going to pack them and leave. They can't afford the health care. That's what this year is about. And he has no answer for that. He's going law and order, and then he picks a sheriff. I'm not mad at Hood for saying yes. I'm mad at Blakeman for picking him. A sheriff is not the right pick. Just isn't. There should have been somebody who's care about the economy. Right? This is not the right person. The AG he picked. The AG he picked is not about helping businesses grow. His AG he picked is about law and order. I'm not against law and order, but we have DAs for that. Focus on DAs for that. Focus on sheriffs for that. I got it. Make that focus. This has got to be about the economy because people keep leaving. The biggest issue we have in this state is people packing up and people leaving. Over 100,000 every single year. Since Zeldin, we've lost almost 1 million people. How are you going to win when you lost 1 million people? Most of the people would have voted for Zeldin. How are you going to win? It's a fantasy. Not going to. See, like, well, yeah, never going to happen. It's impossible. It cannot happen. You must create a coalition. You must create excitement. I'm talking about the economy. I'm talking about how to make lower energy costs. I'm talking about reducing your property tax. I'm talking about reducing our income tax, supporting small businesses. That's what I've been talking about for 8 years. I'll give you 3 quick pieces on that. Number 1, we have to build out a sovereign fund for New York State. RFK Jr. and Trump talked about this back in 2024 for the country. I'm talking about it for the state. I talked about it 4 years ago. I brought it up. The idea of a New York State social trust. This concept is it is literally a sovereign fund for the state. Singapore has one. Norway has one. It can grow. Within a year or 2, it can pay for our education. Literally, from that trust, it pays. And they say, wait a minute, Larry, I heard this before. The lottery. I know. I remember the lottery. It is a separate company with a separate CEO and a separate board, so the government can't take the money. It pays for education. Once that happens, what do? Well, why do we have school tax then? I mean, it's paying for it. School tax goes away. What does that mean? The average New Yorker, depending on where you are in the state, school tax is about 50%, a little bit more of your property tax. Some it's higher, some lower, but it averages around a little bit more than 50% of your property tax. I just cut your property tax in half. That's an actual plan. That's not the old, we're going to cut taxes and cut regulation, which the story tell you all the time. I just gave you an actual plan. But more importantly, now there's no need for federal funds or state funds. I just cut our budget by $40 billion. I don't require it anymore. I don't need that school money anymore. I just cut the budget by $40 million. Yeah, we're going to make cuts. How? I just told you how. Not just that. If we don't have the dollars coming in from the state or the federal government, there's no strings attached. What does that mean? Local people control their own school districts. Local people control their own school districts. We've been talking about this forever. School choice, school choice. I just gave it to you. You control your own school district. The money goes to every district with the right kid in it. You can put your kid wherever you want. What does that mean? Money follows the kid. I just showed you how. That's something that no one else will tell you. They'll talk the talk. I gave you an actual answer. That's an important piece that people aren't getting. Once we have that piece down, now we're rock and rolling. But I'm still not done. Energy costs. Nuclear energy is the answer. Been talking about it forever. Trump's now talking about it. So's Hochul. See, if Trump and Hochul both agree with me, maybe it's time. See that? I got both of them agreeing with me. Maybe it's time. But it's a very special way to do nuclear energy. We can't just build out nuclear energy. That's not enough. We have to build it out in places where people agree. Has to be a plebiscite. You want it, you get it. You don't want it, you don't get it. I talk about localism. I mean it. If you don't want it in your community, no worries. You want it, you get it. But here's the rule. The land is leased out by the government, meaning all we do is get a check every year. That's it. Not owned by the government. It's leased out. It is built by a private company, probably going to be AI Energy Consortium somehow. I don't care what that issue is. Here's my issue. You can build it. You can take your AI data centers, whatever you want, and connect directly to the nuclear power plant. So it does not affect our grid. Our grid cannot affect it, cannot handle it. If you guys know about our grid's in trouble. So our grid cannot take it. So it's direct connection, and 50% of that power plant is owned by individuals in that municipality. Not by a group, not by a company, not by the state, no, the individual people. You and you and you. You are an owner in that nuclear power plant. The individual people are the owners. If you live in that municipality for 1 year or more, you are an owner. Why does that matter? 2 reasons why that matters. Number one, at the end of the year, when that makes money, that's your money. You want to put that money into you say to yourself, you know what? My main street in my town is broken. Okay, great. Put it into a credit union that gives out 1% loans for new businesses. Rebuild your main street. You say, I don't like my main street. My street's fine. My problem's housing. Great. You guys can vote on it. You're 50% owners. Vote. Put it into a credit union and do 1% mortgages for houses. Do it. Put it into a sovereign fund for your own municipality and build housing. We have a problem with childcare. Build childcare. We have a problem with elder care. Build elder care. It's your cash. You don't want any of that. You want to follow the Alaskan model. The Alaskans do this already, by the way. This isn't something I made up. The Alaskans do this already. You know already. Just get a check. Yes. Alaskans get a check every year. Just take a check if you want. Why do I like that idea? Because imagine if we had this across the state. There's about 12 places we can put in right now. These are open areas we can put in right now. We had that happen right now. all those municipalities, you get that check every year, you could have households in this state that can survive on one income. When's the last time we had, yes, when's the last time we've had that? 30 years ago, 40 years ago? One income can support a household. You're a single mom, a single dad? Okay. You're a couple that wants one parent to stay home and watch kids? Okay. I talk about community, my family. I just gave you ways of making community back and bringing family back. No one else will. I'm the only one to tell you that. Nobody else will. But even more important than that, right now AI is coming. We see it. Killing jobs all over the place. The top 6 people right now control AI. We have no control whatsoever. Trump's not going to let us regulate it at all. Neither will Kathy Hochul, nobody will. Why? AI is a weapon system. They're not going to let us regulate it. Not going to happen. It's a fantasy. It's a weapon system. I get it. Okay. So how are we going to control it? What does AI need? Energy. We are going to be controlling the people controlling energy. We will have a say. We will have leverage. Because once this copies, you hear me say all the time, if we can fix New York, we can fix the entire country. When we change this model in New York, we will make the entire country this way. And before you know it, we will have control. We will have leverage over AI. So when they build the Terminator robots, we can stop them. We can actually stop them. Thanks for the laughs. I appreciate that. Yes, yes. So yes. So I just gave you ideas, but I'll keep going. Now I have 12 nuclear, or whatever. I get 9 because 3 people said they don't want it. Okay, I got 9 nuclear sites. They can sell whatever they want. They're not run by the state. What does that mean? I just have 9 new ways of making energy. What did I just do? I created competition. All the prices go down. All the prices go down. And then the nuclear power plants go, well, the grid isn't good enough to get us energy out. I guess you have to rebuild it. And they will because they make money on it. We get our grid rebuilt without one taxpayer dollar. We get energy prices going down without one taxpayer dollar. We get nuclear energy without one taxpayer dollar. Prices come down, control of our schooling, taxes come down. I just gave you all those policies, all those ideas right now. Now, there's a whole lot more I can go on forever. And if you are like in crazy policy wonks, literally on my YouTube page, Live with Sharpe, type in 8 hours. I did 8 hours straight on policy to fix New York State. It is time stamped, so you're not so shocked. If you want to go, it's time stamped for your convenience. I did not take a bathroom break or a food break. I did it live. 8 hours straight. I'm not joking. It's there if you want to see it. 100%. I am that serious about fixing this state. And I've been doing it for 8 years. I'm that serious about it. I want to make things change. I hope I can count on your support. I will need it. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. I will now take any comments or questions you guys might have. Any comments or questions, anything you feel comfortable about or uncomfortable about, you want to ask about or something like that, any comment. How are you? Glad you came. You brought somebody. Thank you. Good. Any comments or questions? Go ahead.
Nuclear, with the safety on it all.
Yes.
Everyone is, I mean, it's clean now. A lot of people are still scared about it.
100%. I mean, when I talk about nuclear energy, there's a couple of things I talk about. I didn't go into details because no one asked, but I'll go into some details now. Number one, it can either be thorium, which is Gen 4. The Chinese have already built a couple of these already, right? So with Gen 4, what that means is it literally cannot, and I mean this when I say this, it cannot melt down. It is impossible. So thorium is one option. The other option is when you have modular nuclear energy. The idea of modular is if one has a problem, you shut that one down and the rest can keep moving. So you can shut one down at a time without destroying everything else. So you can go modular or thorium, whatever's appropriate. I would not go old school, of course not. Old school nuclear energy is dangerous, absolutely. But the newer types are not. And you can see that way. That's Trump's talking about it. If you remember, Trump actually said, he said, I'm liking nuclear energy. They got new safety stuff. He said it. He's right. Kathy Hochul said it too. So both of them are talking about nuclear energy now. And again, as I said, if local municipalities are too afraid and don't want it, they don't get it. I'm not here to force people. I'm talking about people having localism. Look, I bring up localism always. I live in a city. I live in Queens. There are people who love Brooklyn. I know lots of Brooklyn friends. I'm not a Brooklyn guy. Don't be mad at me, Brooklyn. But I'm a Queens guy, not a Brooklyn guy. But there are people who love Brooklyn. If you've met them, they will tell you, oh my God, Brooklyn's greatest. I've heard people say Brooklyn's a blood type. They love Brooklyn. No worries. Enjoy Brooklyn. Live in Brooklyn. But why are we making every other county like Brooklyn? Right? Let's let Brooklyn be Brooklyn. Orange can be Orange. Broome can be Broome. Right? Monroe can be Monroe. And Brooklyn can be Brooklyn. How about that? Let's everybody live where they feel comfortable living how they want to do it. That's what I want to do. Did I answer your question about that?
Yes.
Great. Any other questions or comments? Please.
You know, we have a lot of universities and colleges in New York.
Yes.
Have you considered about turning to Turning Point for support?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Of course. Yeah. I have a lot of people who are looking at me for support, including them. 100%. Yes. The reality of it is, it's weird when I see there's a split in many Republicans in this state, and it's not by city or rural. It's by age. The older Republicans in this state are much more mainstream, following what the party says, care about the party line. What does the party say? The youth are much more aggressive and much more like, I don't care what the party says, I want change. They're much more
I
that
have
way.
another question for you.
Please.
You know, there's a lot of blanks that are registered.
Yep,
Have you considered about going after them?
I do all the time. Yes, the blank system, the blank voters are the ones I get a whole lot of. 30% of my votes are blank voters. Yes, I know that. There's about 500,000 people every year, every cycle of 2 years, who just vote anti the other. Right? So if there's 7 million votes, 6.5 million if a Democrat, Republican, 500 million off whomever. The sad part is, most of you guys don't know, New York State's ballot access rules are literally the worst in the entire country. In 2022, it was the first time in almost 100 years where there was no independent on the ballot for governor. And in 2024, New York State was the only state in the entire union with no independent candidate on the ballot for president. The only one. We threw everyone off the ballot. And to be clear how bad it is, in 2024, RFK Jr. spent over $1 million to get on the ballot. And to be forward, he was a Kennedy in New York State, and he could not get on the ballot. Not just that, Lee Zeldin, people know this, in 2022, tried to get on the ballot as an independent party. He couldn't do it. He was a sitting congressman, and he was the Republican nominee, and he couldn't get on the ballot. Our ballot access laws are draconian, unconstitutional, and broken, and I will break them this year. I'll break them this year. So, did that answer your question?
Yes. Anyone else have any questions? I don't want to keep on asking questions.
No worries. If you don't have, it's okay. If you don't have that, I know I was so good at what I said, I blew you all away. You were so amazed that you're stunned and shocked that you can't even answer any questions. I love that. Yes, go ahead. No, sorry, in the back. Hold on, in the back.
Yeah. One question, more two comments. One where multiple, or what was it, 2000 and 2018 that voted for you?
Yep.
What's the number?
2018,
Yeah, and after that,
2022.
yeah, well, I believe it was 2020 when Cuomo.
Oh, yes.
Like
That's major action.
restriction for the independents and third-party candidates.
Yep.
When he upped the requirements for ballot access for signatures from blanks, third-party or
Right.
third-party people. That, and going back to your AI point with Trump just, bashing on Anthropic that had the military contract
Right.
because they didn't want to use it for AI systems for targeting and automated killing.
No, and this is my point.
So they
If
said
we control the energy,
it went directly towards your point.
bingo, you can actually control that stuff.
You have to control the water and you have to control the energy.
Correct. And there's a saying in the environment, those who in the environmental world is, if you have unlimited energy, you have unlimited water. If you have unlimited water, you have unlimited energy. So the more energy we have, the cleaner our water will be. Which is why I'm saying if we have modular nuclear energy, we can keep stacking that up as much as possible. Clean all that water out, make it all work. Absolutely. Yes. But I'll go one step further. We've got to help our farmers out because the soil matters. And you will find no one care about farmers across the state. No one talks about it there. It's a joke. They don't care. They're watching our farmers die all day long and no one's saying a word. It's lip service. They don't care. I've actually got plans for this. I'll give you 2 plans for our farmers. 2 plans. Plan number 1. This goes for farmers, but also any small business. Very simple. If you are a farmer or a small business and you agree to only sell by signing a piece of paper in New York State, you are immune from all federal regulatory bodies. All. What does that mean? Immediately means very easy farm to table. Very easy farm to table, but I go one step further, even more important. With my idea for paying for schools, very easy, farm to school. Why are our schools not buying directly from farmers? Why aren't we getting the good food right to our kids? Why aren't we doing that? Because our system stops us from doing that. That's the reason why. So I say again? It's probably cheaper not to because the government gets in the way. I would bet without the government, it would be cheaper to actually just get it from the farm. Because every time I hear, again, I say it again, with my plan, there's no strings attached. Here's the problem with our current school system. The customer of the school system is the government. Your kids are in the way. I'm not joking. Your kids are in the way. I want the actual customer of the school district to be the parents. That's who the customer should be, the parents. And if parents are deciding, that's how it works. But it isn't that way. Right now, it is the opposite. The government is, and let me give you a good example of this one too. I want to go back to the farmer piece, then I go to your point. Let me go to the farmers and then your point. But once that happens, it's very easy. Not just that when it comes to slaughtering your animals. You want to slaughter your animals? At a small, you don't have to go to USDA, you don't got to follow all those rules. Now you got people slaughtering animals. Better if you want to. Again, all you have to do is just say, I'm not following federal guidelines, and the consumer decides. You decide. If you go, you know what, I don't trust this farmer, don't buy from him. I trust him, buy from him. Up to you. You will watch how farmers are going to thrive. I have to go into one next step, and that is once I treat all farmers just like small businesses. Why? For loans. Instead of putting up your farm for a loan, you can get investment. Not just that, you're a farmer, you decide, you know what? I want to put up a manufacturing plant on my farm. Just do it. I want to put up a retail store. Just do it. I want to put up a wholesale facility. Just do it. Why does that matter? Because I want craft farming here in New York State. We don't have it anymore. We saw it explode with breweries. We have breweries going up, explode everywhere. Craft breweries everywhere. You guys nod your head, you know. And New Yorkers will pay for it. What if we had craft grows? What if we had, again, craft cheeses, craft ice cream? No, we bribe some big business to come into this state, give them a bunch of cash, and then who pays for it? The local people pay for it, then they leave once the bribes are gone. How about we instead support local people here? You have our farmers start becoming businesses, as many of them want to become. Not all do, some don't, but the chunk that do, families will stay. If you know farmers, so many farmers, they have to have jobs. The farm becomes their hobby, not their work. You're nodding heads, you see it. You see it. It's a hobby. I want the farm to be your job, to be your life, so that when your kids grow up, they don't go, thanks, Dad, for the farm. I'm going to go off to so-and-so and go work in Philadelphia. I'm going to go work in Miami. No, I like what you do here. I'm going to work here. I don't want to work on a farm, but you just started this craft cheese I love. I'm going to be your marketing chief. I'm going to be your operations chief. I'm going to be your scientist to make sure we got the coolest cheese in the world. Whatever. Keep our families together. So I want to work on keeping the farms together. New York has grown on three things: finance, farming, and forward thinking. Those are three things we've grown on, and we're destroying all three of them as fast as we possibly can. We've got to stop that. Finance is going to Miami and Austin. Farming is leaving, going someplace else, and just being crushed by big business to disaster. So that covers that piece. What was I going to talk to you about again? I'm sorry. You asked me. Farm to school. Okay. I'm trying to, where did I go with that school piece? You could, okay. Thank you. Once we have the idea that the state and federal no longer have any control over our curriculum, we don't have to have that anymore. All the state will have is guidelines, which I'm happy the state have guidelines, but not requirements. Why? Larry, local people will do dumb things and hurt their children. I get that all the time. Will some? Sure. One or two will happen. And when it happens, 1 year an error is made, and then we fix it. What happens when the state does it? An entire generation is lost. Anybody remember Common Core? An entire generation lost, entire state. Our kids right now, you guys know this. Our system right now is made that if you can either afford private school or afford tutors, you can do well. If you can't do that, your kid will suffer. You're nodding heads. That's how the system works. That I got my kids tutors because if you don't have tutors, it won't work. Well, my youngest one now is in private school because it doesn't work. That's what happened. Our kids in New York State can't read. I'm not joking. I'm not making that up. Literally, the former mayor, I see heads nodding, the former mayor of New York, Eric Adams, said about 3 years ago, we're going to finally teach our kids to read. He said that proudly. What have you been doing for 30 years? But he said that proudly. Why? Because we had gotten rid of phonics across the state. Yeah, now it's new. No, it's a bit old, but yeah, now it's new. Common Core. I'm not against Common Core. I'm against forcing Common Core on all our kids. There are educators in the room, you know this. There's a small percentage of kids who actually do learn better on Common Core. Let teachers teach. If a teacher thinks this kid will do better on Common Core, let teacher teach Common Core to that kid because that kid will learn better on Common Core. But most kids do not learn better on Common Core. I'm not making that up. If you're an educator, you know I'm right. Most kids do not learn better on Common Core, but some do. But why in New York State do we make our teachers go through all the hoops, jump through hoops, go through everything, get master's degrees, all these things, and then they have to do what they're told by the administrator? If that's our goal, don't make them a credential. Pull them out of high school and have them do what someone tells them to do. Why are they going through all the hoops to learn to be educators, and then we don't let them educate? There are parts of this state where there are more administrators than there are teachers. I'm not making that up. Everything I say is public. If I'm lying, you can look it up. More administrators than teachers. Buildings full of administrators where no kids go.
Assistants.
Yes. Yes. Our system's broken because right now, if you get money into your school district and you don't spend it, you lose it. How stupid is that? How stupid is that? I was a Marine. We had the same problem in the Marine Corps. I used to work in an armory. Those, you know, an armory is where the weapons are held. Those of you may not know that's where the weapons are held. Ammunition, weapons, all that kind of good stuff, right? So the fiscal year ends when it comes to the federal government, October 1. Then if you work for the federal government, you know that's when the fiscal year ends. What we do, September, everyone go to the range, fire all their ammunition, get rid of everything, break all the weapons, get it all out because we don't spend it. Same thing with schools now. You wonder why a school buys, you know, papers for $4,000. Because I got $4,000 I got to spend. What do you got? Paper, done. I'm not joking. That you're shaking your head. Yes, that's how it works. Yes. It's what we've always done. So this is why, if you heard what I said, you just get your money. Let me explain how this works. I'll give you another piece that you may enjoy. Because I'm a big fan of homeschooling and private schooling. Big fan. I want you to be able to homeschool your kid if you want, or private school your kid. When I said that the social trust will pay for schooling, it's $24,000 per kid per district. Send your kid wherever you want. $24,000, a lot of money. No, it isn't. We drop $40,000 every year right now. $16,000 less. With that 24K, 8K per kid can go to a credit if you want to send your kid to private school or homeschool them. Here's what I promise you. There's going to be a whole lot of private schools that cost exactly $8,000 a year. That's the credit. Guaranteed government money. You know, $8,000. Ton of private schools pop up. You want to homeschool. You get a credit. Buy the stuff for your kid. You homeschool your kid. $8,000 credit. Enjoy. Why would I do that? And why only $8,000? Because I still want you to use all the facilities in the district. So you give your kid a homeschool, you send your kid to private school, you send your kid to public school, but you're all on the same football team. Or you're all in the same math club. Or you all go to the same prom. I don't want to break up communities. That's what happens now. There's a homeschooling community. I don't want that. I want homeschooling kids as part of the community. I don't want a homeschooling community. I don't want a private school community. I want kids who go to private school in the community. So now you don't have to buy a library. You got one. You don't go buy a gym. You got one. Have to buy a track. You got one. That would be a whole lot better. Not just that. You get your $24K a year, no matter what. You don't have to spend it. So you know when you should build your swimming pool? When your community says you need a swimming pool. Not when Kathy Hochul's friends need money because they don't have enough construction jobs and she then decides to give them grants to build swimming pools. It's when you want it. You want a new football team on football field? You build it when you feel appropriate. You don't spend your money. It's going to sound crazy. You could save it. I know, nuts. You could save it until when you need it. A rainy day fund. You could do so. So that's what I'm talking about. That's a whole new system of how you can think about education. No one else is talking about that at all. They're just about giving more money. More money, more money, more money. New York State spends the most on per kid than any place in the world. One exception, sometimes Luxembourg beats us. I'm not joking, it's true. Sometimes Luxembourg's not really a country. Sorry, Luxembourg. You're not really a country. Luxembourg is like a bank surrounded by like a land or something. It's not really a country. Anyway, so in the entire world, we spend the most. And out of New York, out of the country, we always end up around 25th. Last I checked, we're 28th. But we are somewhere around 25th. So if you're spending the most money, 40 grand per kid, I should be knocking out rocket scientists out of every single one. Every single high school should have number rocket scientists, every one of them. But no, we can't read. We can't do math. Still to this day. We don't know our left from our right. I'm not joking. Kids don't know left from the right. Kids can't tell time. I'm not joking. And we're dropping 40 grand a year. Kids can't read. Kids can't do math. It's great. Don't know left from right. I'm not making this up. They can't write. They can only type. They can't write. $40,000 for that? $40,000, my kids should be able to literally put together a nuclear power plant themselves. But I'll go one step further. The reason why we've had this problem is because our school system is made to get paid by the government. One of our biggest issues we have across New York State is trades. One of the biggest issues, lack of tradesmen. The average tradesman in the state is about 50-something years old. I'm not mad if it's, I'm over 50. I'm not mad. But that's not the average. The average should be like 35. And sadly, if you watch people in trades, the 55-year-old guy, he's still got the hammer in his hand. You see it. You're laughing. He shouldn't. He should be telling a 35-year-old with a hammer. But he's got the hammer in his hand because he can't get workers. He can't get people. I'm not mad if you're good and you like your hammer, but put the hammer in your hand because you want a hammer this time, not because there's no one else. Right? You should be able to easily hire people to do this, and it doesn't happen anymore. Why? Because our school system has told our kids for the past 30 years, don't go to trade school, that's for the dumb kids. Don't go to trade school, that's for the bad kids. They've been telling them that. Why? Because they get paid based upon college placement. So when you go to trade school, they don't get paid. They get paid when you go to college. So they send your kid to college no matter what. Go to college. I'm not against college. I'm against college with no plan. Because all you get is debt. And the average kid takes 6 years to graduate. So here's the dumb kid. The dumb kid goes to BOCES or becomes a welder or becomes a plumber or builds houses. So that dumb kid now is now 26 years old. No debt, making at least 75K a year, if not 100. And has no debt, maybe has a car for sure. I'm sorry, has a truck. Has a truck for sure. And may even have their own apartment or house. Maybe. But they're not in debt. They're making at least 75K a year, if not more. Depends on how hard they work, what they're doing. They're doing good. Now the kid who gets shoved into college who has no plan. That kid took 6 years to graduate because the average does. So it took 6 years to graduate. So they got when they were 24. 2 years later, they can't find a job and they're $50,000 or more in debt. Who's the dumb kid? Yeah. And we've done that, and it's hurt us tremendously. And it's because of that system that we talk about. We have to break that education system. We have to break it. Did I answer your question? I went a bit long, but I hope I answered your question. Good. Any other questions? You had something you wanted to say?
Yeah, from Facebook, there was a question about healthcare.
Tell me.
It was just said, what's Larry's plan on healthcare?
Yes, healthcare is a serious problem. It absolutely is. And one of the biggest issues is Medicare. Everything from Medicare fraud to Medicare issues and all types of things. Some people don't know. Medicare isn't paid for just by the federal government. Some people think it's just all federal money. Half of it is paid by us through our taxation. In fact, in many cases, it is the biggest chunk of any local budget, right? Idea called unfunded mandate. Some of you know what it is, some of you don't. What an unfunded mandate is the state government says, hey, local government, you will pay for these things. Local government goes, okay, great, where's the money? You don't get money. You don't get any money. You got to pay for all these things. Okay, yeah, but if I got to pay for these things, you're going to give me money, right? No, you just have to pay for these things. For some cases, it's up to 80 to 90% of the budget. So you're fighting over 5 or 10% of your budget, and you wonder why you can't get the potholes fixed. There's no money. You wonder why you can't get to school. There's no money. So what do? It's on purpose. Now you have to beg the federal and state government for money through grants. I don't have enough money to fix my potholes, so I've got to beg Kathy Hochul for money to fix my potholes. I don't have enough money for the swimming pool for my high school. I got to beg Kathy Hochul for that money. That's the whole system. It's a patronage system. So yes, that it's a bigger piece. How do you fix healthcare? Several ways. Number one, we have to get up a system here where people are starting to actually go on their own for healthcare. This is not an easy thing. This will take time. We've spent so much time on the system, it's really in trouble. So that one, and then the fraud. First piece. If you look now what's already happening, we want to change our healthcare system from not what's called the break-fix model. For those of you in IT know what that means. What that means is when my computer's broken, you then come fix it, and then they pay you for the hours you use to fix the computer. That's the old school. You don't do it anymore. Now what do? How many computers do you have? Oh, you have X number of computers, you pay a monthly fee. Great. Why is that different? In the first place, I get paid when your computers break. I want your computers to break. That's our current system in healthcare. If you go, and you can see this, a two-tier system now, I see it in the city all the time. Wealthy are here, everyone else is here. The wealthy go to doctors who don't take insurance. They don't take insurance. They don't. You walk into the place, you swipe your credit card, or give them a check, whatever. Your appointment's at 2 o'clock, get seen latest 2:05. The person talks to you, the doctor speaks to you. Wow, they got paid. They're asking questions like, how are you sleeping? How are you eating? What's your stress level? They're asking questions like that. Opposite, an insurance place. You walk in, your appointment's at 2:00, you get seen 3:45. Every time. Why? They have to stack it up because Medicaid is only paying X dollars. So they've got to stack up. They have no choice. So they stack it up. The system's made for that to happen, right? Not just that. They care more about photocopying your ID than you. Why? Because you're not the customer. The customer is the government or the insurance company. You're in the way again. You're in the way. And whenever you get seen, it's maybe 5 minutes. And it always ends the same way. Every time ends the same way. Prescription or test or procedure. Every single time. Why? That's how they get paid. It is in their best interest for you to be sick. So why would we make you healthy? Imagine we can reverse that. And it's already happening, by the way. It's a monthly fee. Just a monthly fee. You're a family, or me or you, whoever, you pay X dollars per person in your family every month. Come whenever you want, charge you $5 for any visit. That's it, $5 for any visit. Can't be zero. They tried this before with zero, and what happens with zero is the retirees show up every day. I'm serious, that's an actual problem. They tried it, retirees show up every day, because they're not meant to do, they hang with their friends. Because it's free. So you charge them something, they charge them $5. This way they won't show up for nothing. They'll show up when it's a problem. So anything happens, $5, you show up. They help you out. They look at you, whatever the case may be. How much did it cost you? $5. Doesn't matter. A whole different way of doing it. You're finding this open up more. They're happening right now in Oklahoma, other places, happening more and more. We've got to shift ourselves to that. While we do that, at the same time we do that, something else. For those people who are on Medicaid, Medicare, and in New York State, over 50% of us are on that. Most of you don't know that. Over 50% of New Yorkers are on Medicaid and Medicare. That's why it's one of the huge reasons why it's such a big chunk of our budget. To your point about healthcare. What are we going to do? Actuaries already know about how much money you're going to spend based upon who you are, whatever it is, right? So they look at you and they go, oh, you're this or that, so I know you're going to spend whatever, $1,000 a year on healthcare, whatever that number is. They know. Actuaries done it. That's how they do insurance. They know what's going to happen. Great. I'm going to put that on an actual credit card, debit card. $1,000 you get on your debit card. Use it any way you want as long as it's a medical facility. That's all. Use it. Now, what does that mean? Can you go to a regular doctor? Whatever you want. Medicare, you can if you want to. Up to you. Well, I want to go to a special doctor. Yeah, you will. Because that's cool doctors. Because the wealth people will go there. Now, once the doctors who don't take insurance go, wait a minute, so I can just get Medicaid, Medicare money? They can just come and swipe? I don't have to have 4 different administrators. I can just have 1. I can have 3 doctors. I don't have to hold paperwork. Yeah, if they want to go, they'll go. You'll go. Let me try this cool doctor that Larry's been telling me about. I'm going to go. Swipe my card. I go. I love it. Oh my God, it's great. I want to keep going. You'll start going. What will they do? They'll start lowering their prices. Because they're going to want you to come. They want you to come. They can now get this new source of income. They'll start lowering prices. More doctors will shift to that model because they'll see the cash. But wait a minute, Larry. What happens if she gets really sick and she needs more than $1,000? I didn't get rid of Medicare. Medicare, you still have it. But now you have to go to regular doctor. You have to go to Medicaid doctor now. What will happen? Every year you get that. So say for 1 year you decide your $1,000 you're not going to use it. Okay, great. Next year, $1,000, $2,000 in it now. $3,000 in it now. I just created Medicare. I've just created a healthcare savings account. I just created one for you. You just got one. When you want a regular checkup, go to your Medicaid, Medicare doctor if you want to, your regular insurance. When you want something special, you got a card to swipe. What will happen? Over the course of 5 to 10 years, you will watch the entire state change. You'll watch the entire state change because everybody will want to have it. I'm seeing it in New York City already. Try to find Medicare doctors, Medicaid doctors in New York City. It's tough. Doctors are shifting and walking away like, I don't want any of insurance at all. They're not doing it. You're not yet. You've seen it. They don't want to do it. They're like, no insurance. You just come to me. No insurance. You're seeing it happening already. The trend's already happening. I want to accelerate it. I want to support it because that's how it has to work. And they go, Larry, what about people who are like super poor, who can't afford anything? Okay, no worries. They're either already on Medicaid and Medicare anyway, so they're still there. But once we begin to break this system, it's easy. You give medical facilities benefits. You say, hey, I tell you what, will you take 10% of our population who is somehow in trouble, poor, or however you want to say poor? Maybe you say it's anyone who's under a certain poverty line, whatever the case may be. Awesome. I love that. We're going to get rid of all your payroll tax for New York State, each of these people, 10% of them. You'll watch hospitals flock to do that. They'll happily do it. Not just that. If you're a local hospital and you are not going to take, if you're not going to do any business outside of New York State, use a New York State hospital, you're immune from Obamacare. Would I want that? Because Obamacare will not allow doctors to control hospitals. It's against the law. Obama stopped that. Obama begged finance to come in, and finance did. And that's what wrecked our system. It's true. I'm not making this up. Again, what I'm saying is public. Obamacare said doctors may not own hospitals. Obama begged finance to come in, and they did. You see it everywhere. They're buying up everything. You see it in your, I don't know who you, I don't even know who you are. I know you see it. You see finance companies buying up doctors' offices all over the place. Obama begged them to. They're doing it. I want them out. I want them out. I do that by simply saying, if you're not only in New York State, you got to do Obamacare. If you're in only New York State, you don't have to. All these guys they're all multiple states. They'll all be affected. Did I answer your question?
Yes, sir.
That's how you fix healthcare. It will take some time, but it has to be done that way. Otherwise, we're in trouble. Oh, one fraud. Sorry, fraud. It's a fraud issue. My daughter's an EMT. I hear EMT stories and ambulance stories all the time. Lots of people who are taking advantage of our system. Tons, like there's no tomorrow. They're going into emergency rooms all over the place. Medicare is paying for left and right. We have to raise the premiums for the copays for Medicare and Medicaid. And that sounds horrible. We have to. We've got to make it to where it is actually not so easy to go. It shouldn't be easy. It shouldn't be cheaper to take an ambulance than an Uber. And right now it is. We have to change that. But Larry, they won't go to the emergency room. Yeah, they won't go to the emergency room for a stub toe trip, which we're doing now. So now when I have chest pains, I'm not going to be able to be seen because I got some other stub toe in the emergency room. And that's what's happening right now. If you're in the hospital, you're not yet. If you're in the hospital room, that's how it's working right now. You can't get an ambulance. Why? Well, because they're taking somebody to their sister's house because they stubbed their toe. And how much do they pay for it? Nothing. Who's going to go after them? Nobody. Raise the premiums up to $36, you'll be fine. That was my number I brought up before, $36. It's not crazy. Larry, some people can't afford $36. That's not true. For an emergency room, you can afford $36. I know because you've got a cell phone and your nails are done. I'm not joking. I know you can afford $36. You can. You can do it. Now, if you're saying, Larry, there's some people who don't have an address. I get it. If you have an address, you're covered anyway. I will always cover someone who's that bad. If you're that indigent to it, you actually don't have any money at all, you'll be fine. They'll take care of you already. I'm talking about the people taking advantage of the fraud. We have to get rid of the fraud. The fraud is affecting us tremendously. Kathy Hochul will tell you, we're going to look into it. No, what she's going to do is she's going to actually get some kind of board, which she'll put her friends on. She'll get $200 million to put into it, and they'll come out with some kind of report in 5 weeks or 5 months or whatever, nothing. And she'll say, oh, I did it. That's what will happen. No fraud will change. I'm telling you, change the system. People aren't doing this because they're dumb. People are doing this because they're smart. We've made a system where they can take advantage of it, so they are. So change the system. You want a better outcome? Have a better system. Did that answer your question? Awesome. Any other questions? I know I'll go long sometimes, guys, but I don't just want to go other guy bad. I want to give you an actual answer, and you know that I thought this out, and that we can actually fix things. Go ahead.
Question from Facebook. They want to know your stance on the Second Amendment.
Okay.
And also, personally, would you read Dexter Taylor as well?
Okay. I bring this up often. Anybody here does not know who Dexter Taylor is? Oh, okay. I'll give you a quick Dexter Taylor. Dexter Taylor was a guy in Brooklyn who was an engineer by trade, and he was deciding if he wanted to become a gunsmith or not. So he legally purchased firearms and pieces of firearms legally through a credit card online. He wasn't trying to hide it. He just said, we're going to put them together if he wants to be a gunsmith or not. Well, they gave the information to the feds, and the feds gave it to the local people, and the local people went, oh, okay. They kicked in his door. This guy had no criminal record. They kicked in his door, middle of the morning, grabbed him, arrested him, and sent him off to jail. Now, when he went to jail, he fought. He's like, what are you doing? I don't have a criminal record. I didn't sell anything. Are you leaving now?
No, I'm
Oh, okay, great. Okay, good.
okay.
No, please. Yes. I was going to be mad if you were leaving. No, I'm kidding. No. So Dexter Taylor then got arrested and put away. And when they went to court, the judge in that case said, don't bring the Second Amendment into my courtroom. Now you might go, whoa, that's crazy. For those who don't know, the Second Amendment is part of the Bill of Rights. She said, don't bring the Bill of Rights into my courtroom. So does that mean I don't get the Fifth Amendment in there when she wants it? I don't get the third? Well, third's not that big. Fourth? I don't get the First Amendment in the courtroom? I don't get any of it? No. What was her punishment for that? Nothing. Dexter Taylor got 10 years. He's currently in prison. And for those of you who may be shocked about this, Democrats have been telling me for years how much they love black people. For years, they love black people. They love the black family. Dexter Taylor's black. Not just is he black, He's the father of a young daughter who now is fatherless. For a man who sold nothing, fought nothing, hurt nobody, no criminal record, an actual engineer. They put that black man away and wrecked his family because Democrats love black people so much. But it may be racist, but it does matter. It does matter when you are going to play identity politics, as Democrats do all the time. I'm going to throw it right back in your face. So yes, I will pardon him, and that was terrible. Second Amendment. Here's the sad part. Right now, across New York State, there is literally no movement whatsoever, none, to make better gun laws in this state. In fact, Kathy Hochul's ghost gun laws are doing things like making illegal things illegaler. That is her job. We'll make it more illegal. We'll register more things. How do we fix this? There's only one way, and the governor has to do this. When I'm governor, I will create a blanket pardon for any possession charge for a firearm across New York State, based upon the Bruin decision and the Second Amendment. Blanket pardon for any possession. Now, you rob somebody, that's crime. You steal something, that's a crime. You shoot somebody, it's a crime. You brandish, it's a crime. But for having it, what did I just do? I just made constitutional carry. Just made blanket pardon. Now, what will happen? The DAs will go nuts. The judges will go nuts. Yes, some people will go crazy. I'm okay with that. Let them go crazy. Here's my rule. We will go back and revisit all gun laws since prior to the SAFE Act, or I will keep that blanket pardon in effect until we do so. That's my threat. That blanket pardon stays in effect until we go back to pre-SAFE Act. Then let's start having a conversation about that. Then we'll start talking. We got to go back to 2012 or before. Then we can start talking. Until that stays in effect. That's my view on Second Amendment. Hold on, did I answer your question? Great. Go ahead. How are you, my friend? Good seeing you. Good.
So I just want to go back and touch on that Medicare.
Yeah.
The ambulance.
Yes.
So bureaucracy speaking about what's jamming up those ambulance rides.
100%.
That firsthand in New York City Health and Hospitals Corporation and the mandates that are in effect. So they can't, when an ambulance shows up, they cannot refuse to give you a bus.
Yes.
It's that simple. Ride. You could be a drunk on the street.
Yep.
Guy's intoxicated. Okay, so get a family member or somebody get in the cab. No, it goes in the ambulance.
Yep.
Now, they're not paying that ride. They don't pay it.
That is what I just mentioned.
Hospital
Yep.
Corporations has files and files of
You're correct.
paid bills. And who's subsidizing those bills?
Me and you, brother.
That's right.
Me and you.
That's right. A lot of them tell people that.
I do, and that you might have missed it, but let me be very clear on this. I talk about the $36. It should not be cheaper to take an ambulance than an Uber. Right? So if we just did $36, what would happen? The reason why I don't call my sister to pick me up is, why should I? Them will take me wherever I want for free. Now they have Medicap. You heard about this one? They have Medicap now. Oh, you know the Medicap, right? So now what happens is I call the Uber and I tell the Uber to take me wherever I want. And it's $150 and you pay for it. You and I pay for it. That's what's happening right now.
Yeah, the regulations, Larry, what's happened is we are burdened with regulations.
Yes.
Burdened regulations are health hospitals.
Yep.
Burdened with regulations, mandates, mentioned for our farms.
Yep.
Energy sector, our energy, and we're paying for it through surcharges and taxes.
100%.
Phone bill. We're subsidizing the hell out of the system. And people want us, white people, this is the number one exodus state
Yep.
in the country.
I'm with you.
New Jersey, the highest exodus per capita, is congested small state.
Yep.
Okay. But more people live and continue to leave the state.
I agree with you
But
completely.
only 51% of the state has private home ownership.
All right, let me cover ownership now too. Okay, you gave me another one. Okay. You're gonna give me too much. I can't respond to all of it.
You know, the Second Amendment, big issue.
Yep.
Correct. Prior to the SAFE Act.
Yep.
Everything from the SAFE Act to the red flag laws are unconstitutional.
100%. That's why I said that. I'm with you. Yep.
Brandish your weapon.
We're in the same boat, brother. I know. I'm gonna grab him now.
It's that simple. But
Who says I didn't plant him right now?
I actually have to leave engagement for a break part of the kids, but going back to the Second Amendment, I wanted to touch on that. You know, recently,
Good seeing you guys. Thank you so much. Guys, hold on, if you would, there's a lawn signs if you want, and shirts if you like any. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Larry, on the Second Amendment, you just had another restriction put in by Hochul.
Yes?
And Tisha James acts like she's a legislator. She's not. She's there to enforce the law.
Yep.
And she signed off with these restrictions,
Of course.
taking it out of local. The sheriff always handled the application process in New York for concealed carry. To me,
Okay, let me deal with this. You give me too much. Let me cover this. Let me cover this. All right. If you notice what I said, blanket pardon for any possession charge. Everything else goes away. It doesn't matter what they say. The regulations become irrelevant, is my point. I'm making it irrelevant. Not just that, I keep pulling stuff out of the hands of government. The reason why they want these things is because that's how they give out jobs. New York State runs on patronage. That's what New York State runs on. It runs on patronage. It runs on, why do you think we care about the Buffalo Bills Stadium? Every single person who owns a football team is a billionaire. Every one of them. Every actual player is a millionaire. Every one of them. They can't finance their own stadium? Of course they can. Banks love billionaires. They'll give them money for anything. Of course they would. Why won't they? For one important reason. If I'm the governor and I build the stadium, I hand out jobs. That's my patronage. That's why we do this. I want to end that. That's why there's regulations, because I have to create a board. I hand out jobs on that board. I want to create this. I hand out jobs on that. Everything you've heard me say, ever, all of you, is always about removing government so I can build community. Every single time. You say all these regulations. What happens when the regulations don't matter anymore? That's why I'm trying to get rid of it. You're right. I don't want to control regulations because then the next idiot after me will just put more of them. I'm trying to make it to where the regulations don't matter anymore. That's the entire point. If I cut taxes, the next guy raises taxes. I'm getting rid of school tax. You can't raise a tax that doesn't exist. That's the entire point.
you mentioned Buffalo Stadium.
Yep,
She had vested interest.
of course she did.
Because she had her own vendors, right? Her husband had.
Her husband, yeah, her husband. Yes, of course.
Contracts, kickbacks, we have a never-ending campaign,
So that's my point. Why is government involved? If the government's not involved, I don't care, do I? It's not your taxpayer dollars. If two buddies want to make some kind of deal to build a stadium someplace, good luck. It's not my taxpayer dollars, not my money, not my rules. Do what you want. I don't care. Go ahead.
Larry, Lee's Elder lost by 425,000 votes.
6%.
Exactly. There was 1.5 billion people that moved out of New York at the time.
Yep.
What's your plan to keep the people in New York?
I thought I just gave you like 5 of them.
Well, let's get down.
I just gave you like 5 of them.
Get down to one, really.
All right, I'll give you, well, first off, I just said I'm going to get rid of school tax. That's number 1, right? But I'll walk down my tax plan for a bit, if that mind, and I'll give you a little community one. Taxes in New York are obviously a disaster. But the problem is we're so much in debt right now, we can't just end them or the entire system will collapse. So here's what we do. Taxes around New York for income tax is around 4%, depending on where you are. It's in that area of 4%. Flat 4% tax, that's it. 4% flat tax goes down 0.5% every year for 8 years, down to 0. New York State becomes a 0 income tax state within 8 years. We can do that if we have the New York State Trust and we have people coming back. It can be done. 8 years down to 0. Why down to 0? There are zero income tax states. There are. Florida, perfect example of that. You can do it. It is possible. And now what that does, that gives people hope. Wait a minute. 0.5% every 8 years, no income tax? I might stay. Let me keep going. Actual tax for businesses. Right now, business tax across the United States around 6%, depending on where you are, across state change about 6%. Flat 6%. Same thing, goes down 0.5% every year for 8 years, down to 2%. Why 2%? That'll be the lowest in the entire country. Right now, the lowest in the country right now is North Carolina, 2.5%, and they are exploding. North Carolina is exploding right now. Why? Businesses are running down there. Why? The taxes. So you guys going, yes, you're hearing it. It's true. That's how we fix that. Not just that, you're controlling your own schools. I just gave you the school district plan. You control your own schooling. Somehow, it's going to sound crazy, somehow every single president we've ever had, everyone was educated before there was a Department of Education. Huh. Weird. Somehow we made 47 presidents without a DOE. You leaving, brother?
I gotta go.
Good seeing you. All right. Text me what you thought. And it better be good. Yes. Yes. So somehow we've done that. So now I'm giving you localized schooling. Right? I mean, I'm giving you things you'd want to stay, but I'll give you one more piece. I would like our retirees to stay. Sadly, they're not. They're not. People leave for 3 reasons, generally speaking. They're going to retire. They have a kid who's going to graduate, or an elderly parent who's going to pass. Once one of the three things happen, they pack up and they leave. I want them to stay. So I'm going to add a piece of property tax on top of that, which is once you turn 65 in New York State, if you have owned a home for 10 years or more, it goes down 5% every year till 80, 35, down to 0. Now you might go, look, I'm getting older. I'm 75 now. I don't want to live by myself. I want to live with my niece. I want to live with my daughter or my son. No worries. If you go and live with them, half of that's transferred to them. They get 2.5% reduction in their property tax to keep you. Imagine that. Then people actually stay, to want to stay. Pennsylvania is similar. It's similar, but I'm getting you to stay the whole time. I'm making it make sense to keep staying. I want you to keep staying, right? The longer you stay, the more you save. Please stay. Look, people get a pension. You've worked hard for your pension. Sadly, 40% of us have spending it in some other state. Spend your pension in New York State. I want you to spend your pension in New York State. The problem is our state is so unfriendly to seniors that they don't. They go to Florida, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina. I want them to stay here. Take your pension, spend it here. Spend it on your kids and family here. Do that right here. I want that. My mom died in South Carolina and I hate that. Couldn't afford it here. She died in South Carolina. I wanted her to die here with me. She didn't. She died in South Carolina. It sucked. I want family to stay together. I talk about family all the time. It's the way we do that. So even that will work also.
Thank you.
Yes. Excellent. Go ahead.
The major driver of cost of living in the state of New York is the cost of housing.
Yep.
How do we bring down the cost of housing?
Okay. I'll give you 3 options I think will work well. Number 1, I talk about the New York State Trust, which once that pays for school tax, it brings property tax down by half. So property tax goes down, makes housing cheaper, obviously. But the second thing we do, we can start moving towards rent-to-own housing. And we have not done that well at all. How do we do that? We incentivize the people who are builders to actually build housing rent-to-own. How do we do that? Taxation. We literally say, if you are a builder and you build a home or homes, and those homes are all sold as or rent as rent-to-own, if that's how it's done, at the end of the day, no taxes. Seriously. But Larry, then they're not going to pay tax on the new house they build. And they get a bunch of jobs to build a house, and New Yorkers are starting to have housing. Why wouldn't you do that? It'd be great. Next, this is more radical. We're going to follow a Texas model. Texas has Houston. Houston's a very large city, not as big as New York, but very large. They don't have the same homeless problem we have. They don't have the same other problem we have. Why? In Texas, no zoning. It's against the law. Texas has no zoning. We do exactly the same thing. End zoning, support building, get people to do rent to own, and we can even do rent to own. We can start it with public housing. Start with that if you want to. Get the government out of it. The largest slumlord, Mamdani talks about slumlords, right? All the time, Mamdani in New York City talks about slumlords. The biggest slumlord in our state, NYCHA, New York State Housing Authority. Biggest slumlord in our state. Move it all towards rent to own. Ownership is the answer. You're correct. Ownership is the answer of homes. I don't mind people renting. Renting can be very good. If you want to rent, please rent. I'm not against renters. But you should rent because you think it's the right thing for you right now, not because you have no choice. That's the wrong reason to rent. Sometimes renting is a good idea. You're going to be a place for some short time. No, what's going to happen. You don't want to be tied down, whatever. No reason. Please rent if you want to. But you should be renting because you decided to, not because you have no choice. You should be able to buy a house. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, I think there's opportunity with regulation as well. I mean, you talked about pay to play type of.
Yep.
That's what you're trying to say. I'm with that. But
Well, so I'll add to this then. I'll add these. It's not for construction then. Now I'll go to construction side.
Right.
2 parts. Got to get rid of scaffolding law. Terrible idea, needs to go away tomorrow. Just get rid of scaffolding law. Terrible idea. Not just that, we have another problem. One, and they're both with insurances. One of them is when it comes to our state, we are a no-fault state, which means no matter what, insurance companies pay. So I'm a drunk driver. I purposely got in my car drunk. I drove and I hit you. Utterly my fault. You did nothing wrong. Your mind shouldn't have to pay, so does yours. That's how New York State works. Not all states do that. The person who's at fault should have to pay. Their insurance company should have to pay. The problem is we have a whole lot of lawyers who really like suing insurance companies. Forward it like, and they want to sue all the insurance companies they possibly can. We have to end that immediately. That's going to cut down insurance done tomorrow. And the other part, of course, we have is workers' comp. Workers' comp for the actual people who are working right now, the issue they're having is in New York State, you have to insure someone for accidents they have on the job and off. Why are we doing it for off? Get insurance for that if you can. If I'm your employer, I'm responsible for you on the job. Now I'm responsible for you when you're out, you're jumping on trampolines in your backyard. How am I responsible for that? In New York State, I am. So end that stuff to give the workers, I'll give the people a better chance. I had one more piece to it. The big chunk of this is for people who want to actually hire people to work on the books. And that, of course, is payroll tax. For those of you who know about payroll tax can be 60%, 80%, depending on where you are, of the actual salary. Right? So now I'm paying you $25 an hour. Well, I'm actually paying you $45 an hour because I'm paying $20 in payroll tax. So here's a way we do kill two birds with one stone. If you are a felon in New York State and you are hired by someone, I hire a felon. If for the first 2 years of that felon, I pay no payroll tax on their salary. Why do I do that? I'm training my felon population. But not just that, I'm getting more workers in who will work cheaply. And those of you know, my mom was a felon. My mom was an addict and a felon. I know how this works. People who are actually felons and when they work, you will know if anyone's hired felons, you will know within 3 months whether they're real or not. Within 3 months, I see heads nodding. Yes, within 3 months, you will know. If they're still going to go back into their old ways, you'll know within 3 months. If they're serious, they will be some of the loyalist employees you will ever have. Oh, I see heads nodding. Yes, they'll be some of the most loyal employees you'll ever have. If they don't screw up in 3 months, you're good. Give them 2 years and move on. Now, you're not going to put Larry. Then they'll just hire felons for 2 years, get rid of them, and keep hiring felons, keep the tax. Good, you're training my felon force. Please do that. That's amazing. Please. I hope lots of businesses do that. Construction will take a whole lot of them. Construction will pick up a whole lot. They need labor. They'll pick up felons all day long. They'll grab, and they'll save on payroll tax. If there's no tomorrow, they'll grab them left and right. So that would help tremendously. Does that make sense? So, and again, you guys asked me questions. I gave you actual answers. How do I know that? Am I in construction? No. Because over the past 8 years, I've had construction workers ask me questions. I had to figure it out. That's why. Go ahead.
So here in Orange County, we have increased fees on our, like, DMV, like our.
Oh, yes.
For the MTA. We hardly have any MTA.
I want to say thank you for paying for my subway, by the way.
Right.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for paying for my subway, guys. I appreciate that.
Why, you want to give us a reduction?
No, I'm just saying, I'm going to say thank you. That's all. I'm not trying to be nice. You guys pay for my subway, so thank you. Exactly. Yes. So go ahead. I'm sorry. Keep going.
So I guess, I know you probably get asked more down, you know, where the MTA is more relevant.
Yep.
But like, what is the fix the MTA?
Yes, I'm going to cover two pieces you brought up, DMV and MTA. DMV is an embarrassment. And the reason why is because the DMV is another situations where you have no control. The DMV is the only thing that just makes rules. And since the assembly doesn't make the rule, you can't punish your assembly. And the government doesn't make the rule, you can't punish the government. You're just screwed. And they're doing that right now. Was the guy just left surcharges left and right. So you get a speeding ticket for $20 and there's a surcharge of $300. How is that? No, all those go away. All those go away. That's a terrible idea. Number one. Number two, the MTA should be paid for by the city. And here's how we do it. This is an idea I had a long time ago. We should be leasing out naming rights to bridges and tunnels throughout New York City. Why is it the Triborough Bridge, or why isn't it the Google Bridge, or the Kellogg's Bridge, or the 3M Bridge, whatever? Yes. Why is it the Sunkist Bridge, whatever? We do it on stadiums. They drop $20 million a year for a stadium they use on the weekends. They eased up $100 million a year on a bridge that gets traveled by a million people every single day. That gets mentioned on traffic reports in a 16 million metro person area 20, 40 times a day. Who knows how many times a day? And every time you do a movie, you do a shot of New York City, you get your name in the movie, product placement. Of course you would. You do that, you could ease 12 different bridges and tunnels you could do in New York City. That's over $1 billion. That's how you begin to supplement the MTA. But I'm not done. Second thing, MTAs, some of you who've been in the city know this. At night, they only run the trains about 1/3 speed, about 1/3. So that when it's 3 trains, only 1 train, maybe 2 trains. That's about it. Why aren't we having freight coming to the city at night? Freight's coming to the city at night. Well, Larry, freight can't come into the city tonight because the actual tracks being used are different tracks. True. So we have to rebuild the tracks, won't we? Who's going to rebuild those tracks? Larry, it'd take 20 years for the state to build the tracks. True, that's what it took. It took 15 years to build the Second Avenue line. I'm not making that up. So what do? Oh, my same leasing idea comes out. We lease the area out and we say, hey, companies that move things like Amazon, FedEx, UPS, why don't you guys rebuild the tracks? They just rebuild them. They'll have it up in a year. Because again, there'll be no regulation. The government's not building it. I'm leasing out land. Build it. They'll build it out. They'll also do the entire thing. They'll Wi-Fi the entire thing. Why? They'll have to control the trains. There have to be safety. Why? They're not going to let people steal their stuff. They may not care about you, but they care about their stuff. So it'll be safe also. They'll rebuild the entire system. If the entire system rebuilt within a year. What do I do for that? I give them priority at night and I'll name the stations off them. It'll be the Google station on 14th Street. I don't care. People say, Larry, I don't want all this advertising. Look at your phone. It's about advertising. Look at your computer. But that stop. Everything's everywhere. Not just that. What's your answer? $15 for a toll on a bridge? $5 to ride a subway? Or see some advertising and make it cheap? Mamdani's not wrong when he said we need to have better infrastructure and better and cheaper buses. He's not wrong. His way of doing it is completely wrong. But the outcome, let's have cheap buses. I don't care. Make the buses 50 cents. Okay. But let's have big business pay for it. And voluntarily. No, everything I've told you this entire time I've been talking. No new taxes. No increase in enforcement. No extra cops. No extra inspectors. Nothing. It is more and more freedom and people who have cash and money voluntarily spending it. What you hear from people in the city all the time is you got to tax the rich. They got to pay for it. It's not going to work. Give the rich what they want. They'll pay. You know what they want? Marketing. Why do I say that? The newest move, if you guys don't know, is advertisements at urinals. Yes, I'm not joking. Yes, that's how desperate they are for marketing. I got you. Leave the urinals alone. Leave the urinals alone. Come to my bridge. Leave the urinals alone. Come to my train station. We'll do that instead. Did I answer your question? Excellent. Go ahead.
I believe to add on that, you have a point on the homelessness issue
Yes.
and subways.
Yes, absolutely.
Sponsored cars.
Yes, what I was calling for this, the problem is when you have a homelessness issue, which we have to fix also, which of course is mostly with oh yes, good seeing you. Good seeing you.
Last question, we gotta wrap up.
Okay, we're up to, okay, see what you did? That's your fault. That's what you did. Just your fault. All right, this last question. I'll bring this last piece up. Sadly, when you have a homelessness problem, before we fix it, people who are homeless very often go to places where other people congregate. And that's often a bus station or subway. It's very common. The problem is, what are the cops' option? The cops' option is one, leave them alone, and then bad things happen, as we know, or arrest them. These are not two good options. So I have another option. I call it the carrying caboose. The last train at the last car of every other train is literally a privatized car sponsored by healthcare companies and or drug companies or whoever wants to be in it, sponsored, which has, of course, Wi-Fi in it from when they rebuild it, right? But it's there where there's private security, because many homeless people are afraid of cops. So private security and actual social workers who are there. So now the cops come by and there's someone who's in a bad spot. They don't have to either leave them there so they harm somebody or arrest them. Then go, come on, we're going to the caboose. The caboose. What's going to happen there? There's people there, social workers. They've got computers there. They look and go, oh, Johnny, you've been in your meds. But more importantly, for those of you who have been addicts in your life, I've had to act in my life. My mom was an addict, I say it often. Addicts just go away. They just go away. You don't know where they go. They just leave. Those of you who've had addicts in your life, they just leave. You don't know where they are. They can leave for a couple of days. They can leave for months. They can leave for weeks. They just go away. You don't know where they are. Well, imagine if when Johnny shows up in a carrying caboose, there's the next of kin right there. Hey, does your sister know where you are? No. Let me give her a call. Let her know you're on the L train heading into Brooklyn. Let me know. Let her know that. The carrying caboose is a free system. Again, no taxpayer dollars that will give cops another alternative. If you don't give cops an alternative but to arrest, they will arrest. And then with our terrible bail system, they'll even stop doing that. So we have to give cops more options. The carrying caboose is a good option for them. Now, if the guy's being violent, I get it. But not everyone's violent. You could be scary and not violent yet. All right, give them the caboose. So yes. So again, another way we can make it work to give people a shot, because here's what I know. If you have a person who's an addict, you don't know when is going to be the right time for them to actually turn. Is it the first I love you, the 10th I love you, the 400th I love you? I don't know. But if we have a shot where you can find them and give them that I love you, we got a shot. And that's what I want. I want more people to be recovered before they sadly pass away. So, whose question was that? Was yours? Did I answer your question? Awesome. Guys, thank you so much. I appreciate all the time you gave me. Thank you so much.